So sorry, but I'm not taking off my glass.
Lockyer takes a shot. It's low. He's got it. I think he's got it.
Merlin, are you going to speak?
But for me, it was a winner. David.
Well, I'm afraid it wasn't for me, Margaret.
Thank God you're here. Grandma's been raped.
On.
Fuck you. Welcome back to On the Air Tonight, the only podcast you'll find that the two hosts hate each other based on something that you'll never know what that argument was about.
That's why you have to watch the YouTube. That's your incentive to watch us instead of listen to us.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, you won't get any of that if you're just listening to us. Go give us a watch and you'll get a full context of, or a full shot of me and Tom arguing.
Get a peek behind what really happens during the intro every week.
But the show must go on.
It's not really, psh, thank God you're here. Grandma's been raped. Psh, really, David? I didn't like it, Margaret. It's us fucking going.
Us just having a really heated debate and then going, oh, show must go on. Let's.
I hope no one hires a lip reader for that segment.
Those guys aren't arguing at all.
No, they're mutts.
They're complimenting each other.
But they look mad doing it.
Oh, we are sipping on some very tart beers today.
Yeah, thanks to my beer dealer, courtesy of Brewski, courtesy of just off Caxton Street.
Imperial.
God, they're not that nice.
They're so sour.
They're so sour. Jake's got an Imperial lemon lime sour. I'm sipping on an Imperial pink grapefruit. Hunter Valley 2.1 standards. It's not beer at this point.
No, it's basically an alco pop.
Yeah.
But you did say you wanted something fruity, and look, I'll give you everything you want except an arm wrestling win, which our fans seem to think that you're going to give me a big fat L, but little do they know, Tom doesn't eat meat. So how's he going to beat an alpha caveman like me when he's got his flimsy little palm fronds for biceps?
It's they're called feathers, bro.
Yeah,
I prefer feather than
you wish you had
palm
feathers.
It's not about what I wish for or what I think anymore. The fact of the matter is the people have spoken.
They have.
The people have spoken, and they say that 80%. This wasn't 60-40. This wasn't like 80-20. Sorry, it was 80-20.
It was, yeah. It was 80% to 20%.
It wasn't 50-50. This was 80-20 in favor of Tom wins. The feather wins the arm wrestle over the hook.
Pretty much, damn close to a landslide.
Yeah, dude. Let me get it up here. Yep, 80%. I don't want to tell you the total votes either because that'll scare you, but it's like...
It's intimidating.
200 to feather and then like 3 to hook. So... Because
that's how 80 to 20% works,
dude.
bro.
They couldn't go any lower. But no, the real reason I don't want to arm wrestle you... Sorry, let me rephrase that or cut that out because it's not true.
Is that right?
I do want to arm wrestle you.
Okay.
I just can't yet. It's for a few reasons. One is because of the show, because the show's not ready for it.
Okay.
The fans aren't ready for it.
Make whatever excuses you want, mate.
We're going to tease it out of people.
Mm-hmm.
And the other reason is there have been some terrible arm wrestles on free-to-air television.
One in particular.
You're not going to be able to see this. If you want to watch it, just go to YouTube afterwards and search Footy Show Arm Wrestle. But the audio is just good enough for the show as far as I'm concerned.
You know what? It's good enough for our podcast anyway.
We are earning the E for explicit this week with this audio.
Oh, yeah.
Just be warned, if you don't like physical injuries, maybe switch off now. But it's kind of funny.
Or grab a beer.
So they're lining up. Bo Ryan's being a performer as usual, and they're just starting to arm wrestle now. Nothing goes wrong.
Get a grip.
I can't even watch it.
Ready and go.
Oh!
His arms, step.
My favourite part's coming up.
Oh, yeah. All right.
Oh, Bo Ryan, the professional he always is, just sees a bone come out on television. Just, oh, yuck.
Oh, yuck. He's got the back of his hand over his mouth going, oh.
You know that's bad when you don't just gobsmack yourself, put your palm over your mouth. You put the back of your hand over your mouth.
Oh, yuck. So the poor guy who's like, the last thing you want to hear with an injury is like, I've just hurt myself. But then also your mates around you going, you're like, does it look bad? It's like, oh, yuck.
Yeah, you're still in shock. You can't feel it yet. I'm sure he could at that point, but you look around to your friends for some approval and they're just like, oh, I'm going to be sick.
Bro, tell me it's not that bad. It's not out of the skin, right? Oh, yuck.
Put him to sleep. Put him to sleep.
And then Fatty Vorton, the professional, has to come in and go,
We'll go to a break, all right? We'll come back after this. We need an ambulance.
Bro. Oh, we're gonna go to break. We need an ambulance right now.
That went to air. That is live television at its finest.
That is, it actually doesn't get any better than that.
And poor Ben Ross, I think he was an ex-Bronco, so, there's no reason his arm should have broken that easily. He's from the Bennett School of Tough Bones. So I don't know what went wrong there, but I feel bad for the guy, but God, that's funny.
Sailor just snapped him like a piece of driftwood.
Yeah.
So when it comes to OTAT, you can basically call me Jacob Wendell Sailor. Yeah. And Tom, arm like fairy floss Ben Ross.
Oh, okay. Just wait.
Just wait.
Wait.
The audience is gonna have to wait because the arguments are gonna have to end for now as we just
as we rip into
as we get along with one another, because that's when good neighbours.
Neighbours.
They should
Before we get into that review of last week.
Absolutely. Before we get into the show, which I've already blown the cover of what it is, but we do have a review from our third and best co-host, who's
not a fan at this point, more of a co-host.
No, he in fact probably watches more content than we do. It's part Australian, part Chinese, the one and only.
The one and only. Back for another review this week. This time of Louis Theroux's America's Most Dangerous Pets.
Feed me, Pap.
5 stars. Another week of 5 stars. An excellent analysis on the American exotic pet industry. Louis Theroux's docos are always a good watch. He has an art of asking the most uncomfortable questions. This was the first podcast that made me upset and angry.
Oh.
Shit.
What's going on here?
I should have proofread this.
Uh-oh.
The treatment of these wild animals is criminal. I never really believed in the expression dumb Americans. Now I'm not sure. Please keep the podcast coming, OTAT. Well done.
You scared me there for a minute, Pap. I thought you were upset with us for a moment. Like, I'm really upset. They've done 2 Louis Theroux episodes. They're running circles.
Yeah. This is the first time I've gotten mad and sad while watching something. Or watching The Boys.
He's just mad at the treatment of animals.
Yeah, so it's not us. And I mean, fair enough. There was some rubbish treatment of animals in that show.
There was, yeah.
I'll genocide 1,400 tigers if I have to.
We've all been there.
Not all of us.
You'll feel that when you lose in an arm wrestle, pal.
Yeah.
You'll want to kill every single animal in Brisbane.
I'm going to kill all the tigers.
I'm going to kick a cat.
Jake beat me. I'm going to commit animal genocide.
That's how I feel when I lose at anything.
Yeah, you just go out and kill.
Where's the closest thing I can kill?
Where's the closest animal conservation? RSPCA. What's the bus lines like?
Go step on some ants outside to feel like a man again.
Find a fucking hive mind.
I lost a Monopoly. Just bang.
I got the queen though.
Gonna get a magnifying glass out.
Psycho shit.
This week we're reviewing. We're back in our own backyard. We're not going international. We're not having some British documentarian pick apart something in some industry. We're watching our greatest export to ever come out of this nation, apart from Violent Soho.
Neighbours.
Neighbours. It's been going on for too long.
That's why my neighbours
become
Good content.
Overkill.
Karl and Susan are the only ones left. And Toady.
And Toady's still there. So we watched the episode that literally aired last night. It's already on streaming for you on 10 Play.
Jesus.
It's the 31st of May, came out, episode 8,632. Doesn't even seem like a real number for a show.
That's insane. I love how they don't have names for they don't have actual titles for the episodes either.
They don't have enough time.
Who the fuck is coming up with a different title for 8,600 episodes?
Hey, Tony, can we get the episode title for 8632? I don't know. I'm already planning out the next 2,000 episodes that are coming out in fucking 5 years.
They couldn't even do the Friends approach where they're like, the one where X.
No.
You know, all of those episodes are the one where they went to the coffee shop, the one with the blah. It's like, that's a lazy way to title shows.
Yeah.
Because they knew there was going to be a lot of them. 8,000, you still can't have every episode be called the one where they go to the coffee shop, the one where someone gets in a fire, the one where Toadstool gives sage advice to a younger woman.
I'll do you one better. An even lazier version is Seinfeld, the blank, just the double dip,
Yeah.
the football game,
Yeah.
the finale.
Yeah.
Just literally the,
Just
and then
the.
something going to happen. Nope, couldn't even go there.
Yeah. Compared to like your Breaking Bads that are like Ozymandias.
You know.
It's like,
Whoa.
whoa. Let me do 3 hours of research to understand why that episode's called that.
It all makes sense now. You know why it probably is because there's 8,500 episodes out there. If they told it something, it's like if someone searches for this particular episode, there's going to be four episodes that pop up like, Neighbours, the fire.
Yeah. It would be exposing themselves because
Yep.
they go, wait, people will notice we're doing the same shit every 3 seasons.
There's no seasons in this show, man.
There's no
It's the
seasons.
Twilight Zone. It just keeps going on and on and on.
There's no seasons. Get your head around that.
Yep.
Wait, is there seasons? It has a break, right?
It has a break at the end of the year. I think they do a break for like 4 to 6 weeks or something.
That's it. About a month. Silly season.
I think around like, because you'd probably know more about this being in the industry, but there's a time when like ratings are like taken in as like what the number one channels and shows are of each particular category on free-to-air television. There's a point where ratings are like no longer done. Is it over the Christmas period?
Yeah, it's silly season.
Silly season. Okay.
Yeah. So December, January.
Heinous Hanukkah.
Heinous Hanukkah, yeah.
Yeah.
When everything goes to shit
Mm-hmm.
and when you turn on the TV, basically you turn on the TV at like 7 p.m. on a Sunday night.
Sure.
Otherwise, primetime viewing, you'd usually find a Hamish and Andy's Caravan of Courage, a Lego Masters, or a 60 Minutes.
Maths, Big Brother.
Something big.
Yep.
And you turn it on and it's like an episode of Becca from 10 years ago.
Yep.
You're like, oh, it's silly season.
Absolutely, yeah. They just didn't have it, or they just rehashed like the past like 4 months of episodes, or like the
Yeah.
past month.
Yeah, MasterChef Encore. My industry has a future.
So, what did you
I'm
think?
in the right place.
So, if you haven't seen Neighbours before, if you didn't grow up with a childhood, it's basically it's Australia's number one, maybe number two soap opera. It's either that or Home and Away.
Yep.
And it's something that's arguably more popular overseas in the UK and the US than it is over here.
Which is also a lot to get your head around.
Yeah.
Because like you think it's such a staple of Australian free-to-air television, but it's like, man, imagine going somewhere where it's even more of a staple.
Way more popular. It's a cult classic.
It's a cult classic. At the same time, like not taking anything away from Neighbours, because I wouldn't dare, because great Australian pastime. I would argue that it's not in its heyday. If it ever had a heyday, look,
It definitely
put
did.
this way. If it had a heyday, which it sounds like it did,
Yeah.
it's definitely not now.
When you're getting cameos from Shane Warne and Kylie Minogue. Kylie Minogue started on the show, bro. That's that's its heyday.
Yeah, but she started on the show.
Yeah,
But She wasn't Kylie Minogue when she started on the show.
Come on, mate. She's always been Kylie.
She was Kylie, but she wasn't Kylie Minogue.
Yeah, she wasn't Kylie Minogue.
You can't be like that. Oh, it was in its heyday when Margot Robbie was on there, because Margot Robbie was fucking no one when Margot Robbie was on Neighbours.
Yeah.
So at the moment, we could be in the heyday right now. All those nobodies that we just saw in there, they could be the next Russell Crowe.
I mean, watching it with rose tinted glasses, It's definitely not what it used to be, mate.
Yeah.
It's definitely not what it used to be.
Look, yeah, I'm prepared to take a leap of faith and say none of the people we saw in tonight's episode are the next Rusty.
No. We were even saying, so like, there's a couple of people who have been around for God knows how long on the show. It's Paul. Is it Paul Lassiter?
No, Paul Robinson.
Paul Robinson, who runs Lassiter's.
Runs Lassiter's, yeah.
Yeah, you know, you're getting a flashback of your childhood if you're listening to me right now.
Yeah.
From 6:30 watching Neighbours, 7:30 watching Home and Away, and then getting the belt and getting told to go to bed.
Okay.
I'm kidding, Mum.
You all know what I mean, right? You know when the belt comes out?
No. My only punishment was not getting chocolate ice cream for dessert because I didn't do my homework.
Okay, that's normal. That's more relatable. See?
Yeah. Don't go with the sociopath response, Jacob.
People get that. Other people might not have had chocolate ice cream. You know when you got beaten half to death because you didn't do your fucking maths homework?
This guy gets it.
That one OTAT listener in Sweden is like,
Das ist gut. Ja. Schlapp, Neighbours.
bring out surveillance. Yeah.
But yeah, so Neighbours, Home and Away, those were just, I think, for me personally, for someone who was not allowed to watch The Simpsons up until the age of like 12,
Yeah.
it was like, if you want to watch TV, get your homework done between the ages of like 7 and 10.
Yeah.
You can sit down, you can watch Neighbours, watch Home and Away, and you go to bed.
Yeah. And that's a fair trade.
Yep.
I'm not mad about that. You go to bed at what? That gets that you go to bed about 8?
7:30 is when Neighbours finishes.
7:30, yeah, okay. And then like clean your teeth, probably lying down in bed at 8.
Yeah.
That's a good run.
Bedtime story, 8:15,
Yeah.
you're laughing.
Yeah, for a 10-year-old, that's a good run. Waking up at what, 7 and then living until like 8 that night. Like you don't need more than 12 hours as a
No,
9-year-old.
you spend 5.5 hours pretending to learn the times tables.
Yeah, it's like that's exhausting.
Yeah.
You know, you run around for a bit. Everything is more heightened because you have more energy. Mm-hmm. Put me to bed at 8.
Absolutely.
Oh, that'd be the dream. I haven't been to bed at 8 p.m. for a long time.
But if you remember when you were that age, it was always like, I can't wait till I'm an adult. I don't have to brush my teeth and I don't have to go to bed at this hour. And
I can stay up as late as I want.
yeah, mum and dad are like, you can do whatever you want when you turn 18. I don't want to be the one enforcing these rules on you, man. But I also don't want to deal with a grumpy little 8-year-old who's on 4 hours sleep from the night before.
Yeah, mummy needs a wine and you're going to sleep. Mummy, how come I go to bed at 8 every night? Because mummy, when she brings out the Merlot.
Because I love you, but I also hate you.
I love you so fucking much and I would die. I'd throw myself inside of a bullet for you on a bus and I would die for you, but I can't fucking stand you right now either.
You know, they say as a parent, you really have to give up part of your life to take care of your child. I have no life because of you.
Yeah.
So thanks.
Yeah, I love you so much that it hurts me, but I can't stand to look at you anymore. Get out of my sight.
Go to bed. Go to your room.
Mum, it's because you love me, right? And you want me to be well rested and not fatigued
Just
for tomorrow.
shut up and watch Toady get his mullet cut off by Kylie Minogue.
Do you remember Toadie's wrestling stage? Remember were you watching when he was a wrestler?
Yeah, vaguely.
Yeah, he was moonlighting as a wrestler and like lawyer during the day, toadstool lawyer during the day.
That's right.
Wrestler by night. Yeah, he pulled on the spandex.
That's right. Yeah.
7 p.m.
Can't even remember
Like
what
a
his
true
name was.
gremlin.
The Toad?
Probably the toad.
It was probably the Toad.
Yeah. But I think he wanted his anonymity as well, so I don't think it would have been that close to his first name.
Hang on, how many fat blokes are there on Ramsey Street that are affiliated with toad animals?
I can see his goatee under his mask, and he's portly. Probably Toady.
It's got to be. It's the Toad from not Ramsey Street.
It's one of 12 people that live on this street. Probably Toady.
Yeah,
It's a cul-de-sac, Doc.
No one exists outside of Ramsey Street.
No.
But Toadie's still there.
Toady's still there. Karl and Susan. They weren't in this episode, which was a shame.
It was a shame. We all know I was going to say Dr. Karl. I think he was a doctor,
Yeah, he's
wasn't he?
Dr. Karl, yeah. Not to be confused with Triple J's Dr. Karl.
No.
The guy comes on and is like, the universe is actually just a fart.
We've all been there, doctor.
Someone calls, I heard someone call up the other day, not live, I think it's a Brown Cardigan video. They're taking calls for science questions and someone's just like, hey, Dr. Karl, I was just thinking the other day about black holes and just the universe and how big's your cock?
Oh, well, Sarah, thank you so much for the question. The universe is a really strange place. And much like the Big Bang, my penis is always expanding.
Forever and ever.
Forever and ever.
But in reality, Carl's just like, no, Carl doesn't even deal with it. It's like the Triple J host who's running the segment.
Oh, got it. Got a commercial.
Yeah, just
Does
like,
a Paul Vorton.
Okay. She's just disappointed in Australia. She's like, and another one.
Grow up.
The video is just some tradie on side off his like Milwaukee fucking tradie radio.
That's so good. Get that one into your
Got
him.
This will teach you to try and learn us some things.
You stupid PhD wielding doctor.
You loud shirted idiot. Put on a trademark if you want to be loud.
But not that Carl.
Not that Carl, Dr. Karl. So the other Dr. Karl and Susan. They weren't in this episode, but they're in the intro. They're in the. They've still got the Neighbours. The song never changes.
And it's, oh my God, it's just watching the intro again. Yeah, the song that they do kind of rehashes of it. But if you've got a banger like that, you're not going to let it go.
No, yeah, the core is the same.
It's not Home and Away where they need to change it from closer each day.
Yeah.
Home and Away.
Was that a schnock? That's been reviewed. We're waiting for yours to come through.
Love you, Dan.
See you, mate. That's the reason that we're here. Just walk through the door.
The reason you get to see our lovely faces and hear our voices in not such a pixely digital mode.
Yeah. The owner at the new managing director of Trademark.
And Big MD.
If we can say that. That's Dan. We're not cutting that out because he's earned his spot in this podcast.
Absolutely, yeah.
Can I just quickly? This is still related. It's still trademark related.
Go in,
I
King.
was just thinking the other day we haven't given them enough of a shout out in a while. Guernsey's up here. Buy a trademark shirt. Support your fellow mate. I don't think I told you that story of when I was at Jungle Love, because of course I brought my trademark Guernsey to Jungle Love. I was wearing that, and I was just walking to the toilet and I was so dusty. I was like, the whole festival is hitting me right now. And on the back of every trademark shirt this is a conversation starter.
Mm-hmm.
And I wasn't worried that someone was going to talk to me, but I was like, I'm inviting a conversation right now.
Oh yeah, you're open to it. And also you're in your work shirt. We were networking that whole weekend, so you know what? Money never sleeps.
Yeah, it's either a trademark shirt or an OTAT branded shirt carrying a mug. And this time it was a trademark shirt. So I was walking around with that and I was like, came out of a shower, could barely lift my head. And then like, I'm walking back to camp, back to base camp.
Mm-hmm. HQ.
And and a girl yells out, she's like, "Oh my God, is that a trademark shirt?" And I was like, "Oh."
Just pretend you don't know. I didn't hear that.
Didn't hear that. She's like, "Hey." And I was like, "It's my duty." So I was like, "Yeah, it is, legend." Like, she's like, "Oh my God, I love that." And I was like, mad, but I kept walking.
That's weak, Tom.
It just made me want, like, if we could, Dan and Ed could release a limited edition that's like, this is a conversation starter, except if I'm especially cooked, then don't even try me. You know, like a hangover special.
That'd be nice, but it would also be putting in jest everything that they've worked hard to build.
Right, kind of undermining their entire ethos.
This is a conversation starter, unless you're talking to me on a Sunday morning. I'd forgotten on the piss. Like,
yeah. Well, I mean, fair.
Maybe we should start our own brand.
Yeah, it's trademark, but just for hungover cuts.
Yeah, Trud Mates.
Trud Mates.
Just trudging back from a real dusty day.
This is a conversation starter, except for any time before 9 a.m.
This is a conversation starter, unless the conversation lasts more than 8 seconds.
Yeah. And trust me, I'll be walking away.
Yeah.
8.5 seconds in. But buy a trademark jersey, support the show.
Please do. Yeah, we definitely wouldn't be here without them, and the show wouldn't have improved as much. You might have think the show hasn't improved, but golly gosh, if we were still recording in Tom's new farm apartment,
we'd only be going backwards.
Oh my goodness. It would be regressive.
So look out for the new limited edition trademark hangover spread.
Yeah. If you have watched Neighbours before in the past, you know what you're in for. Soap opera, a lot of overblown drama, and it's just gotten worse. And they seem to have just put such an disgusting airbrush and color saturation into everything they do. Like I don't know how, but like the main bar now in town, it's not Harold's, the cafe. It's like the
That's right.
It's
I
like-
forgot about Harold's.
It's like the Flamingo Bar or something
the
like
Pink
that.
Flamingo or some Gold Coast bullshit.
So there's fucking fake sand all about the place. It's all pink pastels, and even when they're not by the bar, everyone's wearing bright pastel colors, and it's just overblown, really high beam light on everything that's shown. It's just, it almost hurts to watch.
It's very ugly.
Yeah,
It's an ugly show.
it is an ugly show.
Yeah, in more ways than one. All the lighting is almost all the outdoor scenes. I think are literally just lit by the sun, like, and nothing else, which is like so harsh, and like natural light is like the worst. Like,
There's no control in color
midday
grade.
harsh natural light. No one looks good in it.
No.
On camera, and it's just all that, and it's like, oh. But I mean, I don't think that's changed. I think Neighbours has always been like that.
I think just the actual, like, what they're wearing, like the costumes and the sets is just, they've just gone way too far with the color grades.
Well, I think it makes a difference when, like, you're looking at Russell Crowe or like Kylie Minogue or a Guy Pearce. It's like you can light them however you want. They're going to look incredible, and they're going to have gravitas on screen.
For sure.
Now?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, is that they clearly need to compensate for the show with the colors and the set design, just distract you somehow from the otherwise piss poor acting.
Oh.
I know it's daytime television. It's a soap opera.
Yeah.
But God, the only emotion anyone seemed to show was sarcasm and passive aggressiveness.
Yeah. And like, I don't really want to be here as well.
Yeah.
There's a lot of that energy going on.
For sure.
You can tell everyone's kind of like, when do I get my Martin Scorsese call?
Never, because you're on Neighbours.
Still waiting.
You're not Margot Robbie.
It happened to Margot.
Yeah, but she was around in the golden era
Yeah,
when Shane Warne was on the show.
We had Rachel, Zeke,
Mm-hmm.
Margot, and the boys.
I was having a look at cameos before. Do you know last year they had Russell Brand on the show?
Really?
That's one of the bigger ones I saw. They also
That's a
had
big one.
They had Ray Batista as well.
You mean Dave Bautista?
Sure, yep.
The wrestler?
Dave Batista, the wrestler. Yeah, he was on in
It's like,
two.
does he have a brother? Ray?
It's actually, he's less famous, not as strongly built younger brother, the accountant.
Ray Batista.
They thought they were getting Dave, and they got Raymond coming in with his fucking 4 eyes and his pocket protector.
Everybody loves Ray. It's just Ray Barone.
Hey, what are we doing here on Ramsey Street?
Oh, you want a Dave Batista? We got you Ray Barone. Still a big get.
It's not even close.
Oh, you wanted you wanted Dave Bautista? Here's the best. He's the best American sitcom actor of all time.
Yeah, all right. But it's not even him. It's his like CGI mammoth just stomping through Ramsey Street.
Toady. I don't know. My mom makes this fucking lasagna, and I just can't. I've never had a lasagna as good as my mom's.
My wife's a fucking bitch.
My dad's a psycho who just unbuttons his belt every time he gets on my couch.
Peter Boyle. Frank's fucking dead. I don't know. The Family Guy. Sorry.
Everybody loves Toady.
Yeah, dude. Robert.
Yep, Robert.
For me, it's always Raymond.
Can't even get down to that decibel.
Dude, he's so
Raymond. No.
Raymond. Yeah, no. What's his name in real life? Brad Garrett.
Is that his name?
Yeah, Brad Garrett.
I'll take your word for it.
Have you seen him dance?
No.
He's a really talented dancer.
He's a huge dude.
For like an 8-foot guy.
For a fucking Sasquatch.
I don't know how he moves like that. There's a couple of scenes where he's just like in a nightclub in his cop uniform, just busting out in Raymond. They just write a dance scene into it.
Oh, I think I might have seen that. That guy, he's quite flexible.
He's good, dude. He's got schmoves.
So that'll be the next show he watches, everybody.
Absolutely.
Because that's definitely on free-to-air television.
Yeah. I had a day home from work last week, and all I did was watch Everybody Loves Raymond.
Yep.
Family Guy has a bit about Everybody Loves Raymond. Again, Family Guy in its heyday. Speaking of heydays, it's like Ray just sitting on the couch, obviously animated Ray, Family Guy version of Ray, just sitting on the couch like dead-eyed watching the telly. And then Deborah walks in, again, animated Family Guy version of Deborah.
Ray.
Yeah, and just starts like teeing off about something. She's like, Ray, your mother came around and then all the kids are awake now because you kept them up.
And you need to fix the sink. You were saying you've been fixing that for 2 days now.
And Ray's just like, how about you have you ever tried stop being such a bitch?
That's right. I remember that. Yeah. It's like early Family Guy days.
He just doesn't look away from the TV. Ray's just like, yeah, maybe try being not such a bitch all the time.
Doesn't she like punch him or something?
I think she's just like looking at him,
Just gobsmacked.
and then just like drops the magazines, and then it's like cut back to whatever Family Guy episode that's it.
It's like that time where it had that crazy episode of Everybody Loves Raymond. There's no context to whatever happened.
It's like, how do I remember where I saw that? It doesn't line up with any other part of the episode.
And they just, go back to whatever they were talking about before he made that reference.
Yeah, that's as funny as the joke I'm about to tell. It's like, great.
All right, Seth.
That's
little too much drugs.
That's not writing. That's not how you write anything. Sorry.
Hey, it worked for a period of time. Early 2000s.
Yeah. You've seen how the South Park boys like genuinely hate the Family Guy guys, not because they were probably a little bit of jealousy because they were so successful for a long time.
Yeah.
But they were just like, we don't respect them as writers or storytellers. They don't have characters. They just have people who spew out jokes and gags. Like they're just the characters aren't people. They're just vessels for humor.
It's slapstick.
Yeah. Yeah. From guys who like, you can't fault Matt and Trey, the South Park boys, for like the longevity and like they actually write narratives and seasons have season arcs. And they're proper writers.
Perfection comedy, and it's still been going for 23, 24 years.
Insane. And like, they're just the most relevant show of like every episode is relevant to last week because they do it week by week.
And because they're able to pump out episodes so quickly, not even talking about Neighbours anymore. We're talking about 4 different shows in this space. We should be talking about Neighbours.
Hopefully all on free to air at some point. I think I've seen them.
I think they are, yeah.
I think this checks out.
Yeah, absolutely. But to be able to put out episodes so quickly that, if something happens with COVID or like the presidential campaign or something along those lines, they can get out an episode within a week.
Yeah. And it's like Family Guy is still sitting there holding their dicks writing fucking Robert Lozier jokes. Do you remember that one? We don't have to go.
I don't. Robert Lozier.
You know who Robert Lozier is? Mm-hmm. He's an actor. He was actually in Sopranos the other day. I was watching it. Oh. Just an old actor. And
another show that's probably not on free-to-air telly.
Let's get even more off tangent. Definitely not on free-to-air. Very HBO. Peter's like, that's worse than the time I was stuck behind Robert Lozier at the airport. And it's just Peter stuck behind Robert Lozier at the airport. Cuts to that, and Robert Lozier's going, the guy's like, can I have your name, please? He's like, it's Robert Lozier. That's R for Robert Lozier. O for, oh my God, that's Robert Lozier. B for Bill, look over there. That's Robert Lozier.
Oh my God, somebody kill me right now.
Yeah, and he does like the whole name, and then he's like, space, L for look over there. And then
Peter surely cuts at that point, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, that's Family Guy.
4 TV shows that are completely off tangent. That's how bang average Neighbours is these days.
Yeah.
Like, we may as well tell you what the episode was we watched. I mean, it's you need context with any TV show. If you're coming in halfway through a season, you're kind of going, what's going on here? You're a little bit confused. Neighbours, you're guaranteed, if you watch 2 to 3 episodes, I haven't watched it in over 10 years. And if you picked it up and watched 2 to 3 episodes, you'd know every single person's name. You'd know exactly what the plot lines are, the drama, the politics of all the different interactions.
Yeah, because they spend probably half of the show showing new things happen and developing the story. And the other half of the show is recapping what's happened. Mm-hmm. And not even like a recap as in Married at First Sight does, where they go, this happened last week or this happened before the break. Recap as in written into the dialogue of characters saying, yeah, you remember when me and Teddy had that fight and he had the rental list and it's like exposition written into the show to get you caught up.
It's spoon-fed to you. Like it's intense, like how quickly it just goes. I'm so fucked.
You drunk?
I had a pint at Brewski, and you can cut this out, but
I love it. Go in, roll with it, lead into it.
Just a pint at, it was like 2.5 standards and a pint at Brewski. And now I'm having a 2.1 standards sour that just tastes like a pickled asshole.
How far through it are you? Yeah, you're beating me.
Yeah, I'm trying to get through it.
Pickled asshole. These are the worst beers I've ever had, guys.
Worst $17.50 I've ever spent. So what I was trying to say...
You don't remember?
No, I do. It's just getting the words out. The episodes, just, you only need to watch... Fuck me, cunt. This is actually really bad. This is why I didn't want to buy us beers.
I didn't say get us fucking alcohol concentrate.
Oh. So if you watch... When you're watching this show, you only need to watch 2 to 3 episodes to get absolutely caught up. The writing and the dialogue is just complete exposition.
Yeah. But you need a show... If your show runs for 8,632 episodes... You can't expect your audience to be going back to episode 1 and following all the way through.
No, it would take
even
you,
episode 4,000.
It would take you 3 months watching it back to back to get up to speed.
Yeah, so you kind of have to do that if you want to attract, if you want to build your audience at all. Which, from what I can tell, they're not concerned about attracting any new viewers to Neighbours. They're just like, we've got a few people hanging on still, and
it's the boomers and the internationals.
Yeah. They're all a bit over it, and they're going to, like, as in the writers of the show, the creators are all a bit over it, and they're just like, we just have to keep feeding the hungry boomers their Neighbours fix until they die out, and then I can go home and get another job.
Yeah. Yeah,
Pretty sure that's what's happening.
What's the lifespan of a writer on Neighbours?
That's what I was thinking, dude. I was wondering what the writer's room looks like in Neighbours. Is it like 10 people? Are they like staying up till midnight like SNL does and then like going on set the next day?
You're putting out 5 episodes a week.
Yeah. And they don't really, like we were saying, they don't really have an off season.
No.
So they'll be writing like probably 2-3 months in advance.
They're writing, filming, producing, editing 24/7.
And they can't have a plan.
No.
They can't have a plan for the whole time. So they're just fucking rolling with it. They're writing like I used to write short films in high school where it's just like you're supposed to just go beginning, middle, and end before you do anything. But I'm just like, I was always like, Jimmy walks down the street and then I figure it out as the pen keeps moving.
There was an argument, and then during the argument, a car came by and the car had a crash into an elephant, and then there was a fire. Guess who dies this week on Neighbours?
The writers of Neighbours are basically playing that drinking game where everyone says one word of a story and it just keeps going.
Absolutely, yep.
Today,
there
was
a
guy
that
went
into
my
house.
The end.
Whoa, tune in next week.
That's the cliffhanger.
Should be good to one another.
And just like the drinking game, they all do shots afterwards as well.
They need to if they're gonna go home and like face their family. Like, so honey, how was the writers' room? Shut up!
Shut up! What do you think happened?
The exact same thing.
Paul Robinson got mad again. What do you want from me, darling?
There was some sort of bullshit hook at the end of the last episode that'll be reconciled in the first 5 minutes of this episode, and then we'll do it all again at the end of next episode.
Stop asking me how my day was. It's episode 8,632. How do you think it was? I write for Neighbours.
Dale, you just seem to be so passionate before you started this job. You've only been in the job for 6 days.
You were when I met you, you were going to change the world. You were a poet. You're a writer's writer.
And now you're writing for Australia's #2 soap opera sitcom.
It just seems like you've lost the fire in your eyes, Robert. Nah, I still love it, bud.
There's really actually...
I love writing Paul limping around.
Threatening people. Threatened like 3 people this episode.
Because we both remember, to time capsule this, like, I think we were both kind of watching, because we both had our Neighbours stage.
I'm still in it.
Good. For a night. We were watching it probably around the same time in high school where, like I was saying, there was Rachel, who I can't remember the actor's name to save the life of me, but she was the actress who went on to Tomorrow When the War Began.
Yes.
And Zeke, her brother, who wore like the cool vests and like the cool leather straps on his arms.
He was the
like,
angsty emo kid.
Yeah.
Around the same era as like Lee Harding.
yeah, very cool shit.
Yeah.
So Rachel and Zeke and Margot was like that era.
That's right.
And Ian and Harold was Harold and Harold's like
Lou?
Harold and
Lou.
Was it- I think it was Lou. Harold and Lou. Yeah, I think you're onto something there. That was our era.
Yeah.
What was my point though? I was saying that's why that's when we watched.
Yeah, so you were saying this goes back in a time capsule of like what the show was when we were watching it. Paul Robinson.
Oh yeah. So that's around the time that we were watching it. So I actually remember Paul coming back.
Yes.
I don't know if I think you do as well.
Oh, bad boy Paul's back on the
Yeah.
scene.
Yeah, and I think he'd been gone for maybe like 15 years.
He was gone for, I don't know if it was 15 years. It was a long time though.
Yeah.
Because I remember watching
I remember my parents getting excited about Paul coming
Yes,
back.
dude.
It was
Yeah.
like-
I remember watching it and like going like, who's this guy? Mum's like, oh, Paul Robinson's back. We got to tune in, kids.
yeah, this is a big Neighbours moment.
Yeah.
And we were like, oh, okay, I guess this guy means business.
And he did.
And you know what happened. Paul went over to the States, tried to make it, conceded defeat, probably had a family, came back and he was like, I'll pick up the cape and cowl. I've got the old Paul Robinson costume suit.
I'll happily get the $80,000 to $100,000 a year just for the sale of my soul and integrity as an actor.
Can you blame him?
No,
I'd
not at
do
all.
it.
Absolutely.
I'm not taking scraps to work like as a fucking alien on Dexter or some shit. Like,
You said it yourself, like during the show.
Illegal alien.
There's 3 different actors who go on to Neighbours. There's the actors that go on and then leave to do bigger and better things. Your Margot Robbies of the world.
Yeah.
Couldn't name anyone else who's actually blown up. She's probably the biggest thing. Oh, Chris Hemsworth.
Russell Crowe.
Did he start on Neighbours?
Yeah.
Did he actually?
Yeah. Well, it was one of his big, like, he was young on Neighbours for a significant stint. So
Kylie Minogue as well,
so
I guess.
you don't like make it big, then go back to Neighbours, then make it big again.
Yeah,
so I
sure.
can only assume they started out on a
Kylie Minogue, Russell Crowe, Margot Robbie,
Guy Pearce.
So you've got
A lot of guys.
There's that one archetype. The other archetype is like, you know what? This isn't for me. They do their season or two.
Yeah.
Or because they're just not talented enough, they just get booted off the show.
Yeah.
That probably happens to a shitload of them.
Yeah.
And then you've got the toadies.
And then the Toadies of the world, yeah. That's,
blo-
that's your third type.
The blokes who are just absolute leeches on the show and just hang around for 30 years. And it's like, what do you want me to say? I'll say anything you want. Like,
every show needs its stalwart.
Mm-hmm.
You can't just tune into Neighbours. It's the same mentality of like the newsreader being the same newsreader for like 15 years in a row.
Mm-hmm.
When you turn on Channel 10 or Channel 9, when I turn on Channel 9, as much as I hate it, I want to see Tracy every night at 6:30
yes.
because it makes me feel safe.
Yeah.
And I don't like change.
A current affair wouldn't be the same without Tracy Grimshaw.
Current affair wouldn't be. I need Andrew Lofthouse every night, 7 p.m. telling me the news.
Gary Youngberry giving me the weather.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And all's well in the world because the boys are there. It's the same thing with Toady. All's well in the world. If I can tune in 2021 to Neighbours without watching it for 10 years and there's still the same guy there doing the same shit,
Toady!
everything's fine, dude.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. It's consistency. It's a stalwart. So you need those actors. You need your Toadies, who's after watching an episode of it tonight. Oh, sorry, 2 actors, Paul Robinson and Toady.
Mm-hmm.
The only 2 who we recognise from the old days.
Yeah.
So they're your stalwarts. But apparently Karl and Susan are still in there, according to the intro. But they weren't in this episode.
So we'll see you next week for another episode of Neighbours on the air tonight.
yeah. Oh, you mean we'll watch it again?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Fucking lootly, yeah.
It's funny though, like...
Yeah, sorry, you go.
No, go on.
I was just going to say, do you think they've just like shoved Karl and Susan to the end of the intro at the start, at the start of the show to trick you into thinking they're going to be on there, and then they're in like every 10th episode maybe because they're such hot property now?
Maybe, but they're still technically on the show because at the end of the day...
under contract still, I guess.
Whenever there was like someone who died, which happened around just before the ratings break at like November, December, there was always a fire at Harold's or
big,
like
big
someone big car crash, someone fell in a creek and drowned or something.
Shark bite's always a good one.
Shark bite, usually more on home and away.
Yeah, true, BG.
Yeah.
Not many bodies of water around Ramsey Street.
Nah, not at all.
Just home and away next
just
week.
the one at the Pink Flamingo. But they'd always have someone die off, and I can't remember where I was going with that.
Nice, dude. Nice.
God.
You reckon that's the Imperial Sour again?
Yeah, probably.
Fuck. Jake is on struggle street.
Yeah, I am.
You would say.
Oh, yeah. So at the end of each year, at the point of the ratings, someone dies. Someone's in a car crash. Someone's in a fire. Something big usually happens. Usually the next episode, they're pretty efficient with making sure that whoever died is removed from the intro.
Yeah, they're quick on it.
Yeah.
They're trigger happy on the intro.
They've already got it lined up. They've had it lined up for 6 months.
Yeah, they've got their, I'd say there's at least a whole department of, I'm going to say 2 editors who are just in charge of removing the dead people from the intro.
Yep. Slot Toady in there. I know he's been in twice already in the intro, but put him in again. He's a big fella.
Excuse me, Mr. Director, we don't have any actors left because we've killed all of them. Who else can we put in the intro?
Toady
again. We've used him 5 times already, Mr. Director.
What about, chuck in Karl and Susan. They haven't been on the show in 15 years. I said put in Dr. Karl.
This show is about Toady, it's about Karl, and it's about Susan.
We put in Harold as well, but he fucking died in real life. Not the
I think he did too. I think Ian was his name, and he's goon skis. Poor guy.
Yep. Broken like the man's forearm at the footy show.
Funny tidbit about Karl and Susan. You know, is it Eddie Redmayne? Is he Australian?
The actor.
Yeah, the actor.
He'd have to be.
He is.
No outsiders on
No.
Neighbours.
He's not Australian. He's British. But he didn't come through Neighbours. He never acted on Neighbours. But, you know, Eddie Redmayne, Theory of Everything.
Yep.
Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. Like, he's a massive actor.
Yep.
When he accepted an Oscar or a Golden Globe, I think it might have been an Oscar for Theory of Everything. Yeah, it was. Yeah, he won for that when he played Stephen Hawking. He got up there, and in his acceptance speech, he thanked Karl and Susan from Neighbours.
What?
Because it's so big in Britain, like we were saying before. It's so big in the UK. And he got up and he was like, none of the people in this room are going to know who I'm talking about, but the biggest acting inspirations, the people who made me get into acting, and the reason I'm standing here today are Karl and Susan from Neighbours.
That's bizarre.
Isn't that crazy? Like,
imagine them just like...
Imagine them.
They'd be like, haven't even sniffed a silver Logie in my life, and we're getting thanked by someone who's got an Oscar.
An Oscar, yeah. They're not invited to the Logies anymore.
Not invited to fucking TV Weekly Awards.
And their names being mentioned at the Academy Awards. Insane. I think that he thanked them because he was like, they played such good regular people, and they were just a part of my life forever. And he was like, I want to be like them. They're like parent figures.
They had good chemistry.
They're good, dude. Karl and Susan are like those ones stick around for ages. Like, Toady's fine, and he sticks around for a long time, but they all look way better in these shows. Like, Toady looked really good in this episode because he's just been a regular dude. But that's better than looking like you're acting, which is every other actor on this show.
Oh, dude, just trying way too hard.
Everyone else is reading lines, and it sounds like they're reading a script, and Toady's just like perfected, just sitting there on a couch, like flipping through papers.
Yep. No matter how bad the lines are, it's just like, yep, all right, dialogue.
Yeah. I mean, I'm pretty sure I've got this character down pat now after 4,000 episodes.
Yep.
I think I know how Toady would say this.
And it might be just because these are brand new people in ours because we've never seen Neighbours in the past 10 years. But 99% of the people, they just looked uncomfortable. Whenever someone would be talking, they were just looking at them, waiting for them to finish and like, oh yeah, well, this is my line.
Yeah. No one is like, no one's actively listening.
No.
They're like, and sometimes they'll get the person reading the line, and it's like on them. And then natural film editing, they cut back for a reaction, but the reaction shot is always just you can tell it's just bad acting.
Yeah.
Bad acting is one of those things in TV or films that you don't need a fucking film degree or even have watched a film video on YouTube to recognize bad acting.
It's the people who make you feel uncomfortable.
Yeah, and anyone can spot it. My grandmother can spot bad acting.
She's blind.
Yeah, dude. She would be after this episode.
Yeah, just stab her eyes out. Don't make me watch another episode.
No more Neighbours. No, she was Bold and the Beautiful Fiend. That is a fucking Jesus. We should watch that.
Yeah, just airbrushed, 80 frames per second, just really smooth movement.
The Venetian blinds, like the shadows over their faces. They look out the window.
And
What happened to Ridge? I happened to Ridge.
Ridge walks through the door. No, you didn't. I happened to me.
I happened to me.
My God, Ridge is back, and now I'm gone. Tune in next week on Bold and the Beautiful.
Tune in next week to What Happened to Ridge. The Bold and the Beautiful theme song, one of the greatest theme songs of all time.
Not as good as Neighbours.
Neighbours is good.
So what would you rate the nostalgia ultra trip that it was going back down Ramsey Street, which is the only cul-de-sac in the world that's named Street?
Is that true? A cul-de-sac's ever called streets?
I'm pretty sure they're called courts.
Courts?
No, you can have a street.
Or crescents?
No, you can have a street. I just thought it was
Fucking funny though. Fucking wish it were true.
just like no one's thought of the biggest like plot inconsistency. Hang on, didn't you say they live on a street? Where's the end of it?
Think of the headlines, Jacob. We've just uncovered something huge. We struck gold.
Got to watch out we don't get assassinated this week. Just like
The headline, 2 pissheads uncover Ramsey Street, Australia's secret in that Ramsey Street is a cul-de-sac. New Bold and the Beautiful plot twist. That comes up. I'm the street.
oh, it was a great time.
What would I give Neighbours? Look, I'm not going to trash it.
Weren't you? Go on.
Could have fooled me for the last hour.
Going deep.
As a concept, I don't think. I mean, as an episode, sure, it sucked.
Yeah.
It was bad. It was bad writing. It was bad acting. And it was bad television. But can you knock something that's been going for 8,632 episodes?
And it's still up.
And it's still going?
Still going strong as ever.
It's doing something, right?
That's the thing. I don't see this. Any show you can smell the end in sight. Like some shows are really well written, like your Breaking Bads of the world, where it's good up right until the end. Some shows fizzle out and they just keep writing and writing, like The Office US.
Yep.
And then other shows, there's just no matter if there's valleys or peaks, they just keep going. And Neighbours, any soap opera, I guess, is that until like the network's like, we found something better.
That's really true. That's a really good point because you're right. The offices, the US offices of the world they'll write themselves into oblivion until they jump the shark. Happy Days, as Happy Days did. And it gets worse and worse and worse and worse and worse the longer they go on. And then it's like, oh, it's not in its heyday. It's like Neighbours has been going for, we figured out 1986 is when it started.
Yep. So what's that, 35 years?
Yeah, quick math. Is that 35 years?
My brain can do something.
I'm trusting you. I have no fucking idea.
I think it is, yeah.
Try to work it out. For 35 years, the show's been running, and like no one really considers these episodes to be any worse than the old episodes. I mean, you know, yeah, they might be worse, but it's like
it's subjective at that point.
It's I guarantee if you went back and watched a Kylie Minogue or a Russell Crowe or a Guy Pearce era, it would have been the same shit that we just watched then. It would have been the same old bullshit. It's not as popular anymore because like no one. But that's not the show's fault. That's just free to air dipping. That's just no one watches TV anymore.
Yeah.
So yeah, some shows can just go forever and not really get any worse because they were never that good to start with. They set out to be mediocre. I think that's the difference.
Yeah.
And they're like, we're not going to knock the socks off anyone. We're not HBO. We're not Sopranos. We're just there.
We're just comfort TV.
Yep. And as long as we just try to stay there and just exist in people's lives and not make them think about anything or affect them at all, we will never go away because we can. There's nowhere to go. You can't go down from bad.
No.
You can just stay bad.
Just plateau.
Yeah.
Even more. And that's the thing is like as a soapy, there's no kicking you off the air. Like,
No.
What the fuck would Channel 10 do? What would Channel 7 do if they lost 2.5 hours of primetime television every week? What do you feel? I'm sure they'd find something. They just go pick up The Simpsons again or whatever.
Yeah. It's basically advertising space.
Yeah.
Neighbours is a big, fat, 3D, poorly written, poorly acted billboard. That's what it is. A 35-year-old billboard.
Going a bit off tangent, I was actually thinking that during the episode. I was like, has there ever been a point where they've gotten a sponsorship and it's just all of them drinking like Pepsi Max throughout the episode or something?
Yeah, they used to have Red Rock Deli all over. What was his name? Howard.
Harold?
All over Harold's shop. It was just
Really?
I remember like when Red Rock Deli started out, because you remember that? You remember like when they showed up on the scene, it was like, oh, new chips, like new like fancy chips. That aren't Smiths.
Yes. No, you're absolutely right.
They were all over Harold's shop. So yeah, they do.
Streets was probably a big one as well.
Streets ice cream. Yeah. They would do like paid promotion, like integrated paid promotions.
Mm-hmm.
What do you call it? Like a plug. Yeah. Like an in-house plug.
Yeah.
Yeah. Big time.
Do you guys want to get paid in chips this week?
Everyone at home? Harold's eating sea salt and balsamic vinegar.
Fuck yeah.
Fuck me, I'm getting some of those. I'm off Smiths. Yum.
They are fucking good.
So remember when Red Rock Delis came out and everyone was like, oh, they're amazing. And then you figured out it was just adding an extra adjective in front of each of the flavors.
Mm-hmm.
For example, like
Salt and vinegar.
Yeah, salt and vinegar. It's sea salt and balsamic vinegar. Soy chicken, honey soy, fucking Mexican chicken.
Yeah, what is it?
Some bullshit.
Sea salt?
Yes, sea salt. It's like,
Ooh, exotic.
ooh, wait, where does this Smiths? Where does your salt come from? Because Red Rocks come from the sea.
From a salt slave mine.
Yeah, put that on the packaging. See if it sells.
I did see that the other day, fucking going off on a chip tangent. I'm pretty sure Smiths are doing Himalayan salt now.
Of course they are.
Yeah.
Of course they are. All salt apparently now in the last like 5 years is from the Himalayas, and it's pink. I ate Himalayan pink salt chips the other day. It was just salt.
Yeah.
They were $1 from the servo with a fuel purchase.
Not bad.
I'm not going to say no to it. What would I rate this episode?
Yes. What would you rate this episode, Tommy? Or this show?
This show in general, again, Neighbours as a show, I'm going to give it, like, as an idea, like a 7.5, just for, like, the concept of it.
It's got to be there. Like, it definitely, you're not going to give it a 10 out of 10 based on what we watched today.
Yeah.
But you're not going to go lower than a 5 because of the nostalgia it brings and what a cornerstone it was in Australian television and what it did for us as youngins.
Yeah. Yeah, it's your breaking through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think 7.5 out of 10 is solid.
Is that yours?
I'll give it a 7 out of 10 pink flamingos.
Oh, I forgot to name my rating. Sorry, dude. Showing off with your pink flamingo.
Yeah, I'm out here on the Imperial Lemon Lime Sour.
He's pissed as a fart, but he still remembers how the show works. Fuck me. Just showed up like drunk.
Yeah, coherence? No. Structure? Oh yeah. You've come to the right place.
You go.
Oh, goodness me.
I'll give it 7.5 toadstools out of 10.
Toadstools.
Toady.
Well, if you made it this far through my drivel and my mispronounced words, Jesus Christ.
Jesus Christ, he's drunk.
Woo!
I'm doing the outro this week, dude.
Do it then.
If you've made it this far through my drivel and fucking... That was
Fuck off, mate.
It was a Jacob impression.
Fuck off. Go again, you coward.
Kick me in the dick.
I'm really sensitive about being shit-faced.
I've never been physically accosted by you on the show, and I've said way worse things like that. Don't mention my slurring of words. It's my. What's the word? The irony. Achilles' heel. If you've made it this far through OTAT and our Neighbours-based chat this week, thank you so much. On the air tonight, I would like to thank Trademark for housing us this week. On the air tonight, I would like to thank the Imperial Pink Grapefruit Sours for sending Jacob into a K-hole by the end of the episode.
How dare you?
And if you like this episode, what's the biggest thing that you could do to help the show? If you've enjoyed this week and you're still listening, like the fucking episode, subscribe to the YouTube channel.
Share it to your mates.
Show it to your mates.
It's not that hard.
It's not that hard to show it to your mates. Like us on Instagram. Because, like, do you want the show to succeed and keep going? Because if you don't subscribe, it won't.
That is so passive-aggressive, and I couldn't have said it better myself. We'll see you next time.
Hopefully. Depends if you subscribe or not.
Or coming to your house. Oh my god, dude. I'm so